Right, so this is the two monument reform version infinite combo. So there are some tricky situations, and I will try to specify the minimum conditions for the combo to just properly work and go off, right? So please pay attention to the numbers because any minor change can actually break the infinite, right? So you need a 13 card deck with a champion included, and you should have two zero cost reforms plus two offering monument. You don't need endless or anything of that sort, but doesn't matter. And ideally, you want to have some other zero cost cards, right? But it's not necessary. And now, the two zero cost reforms are mandatory. It works 100% with 3, which is the ideal case scenario, but it can still go off with 2, right? And I will explain you the situations and the problems that rise when you have two moldeds and not other additional conditions that can break the combo, right? So what's going on, right, is we try to go for a turn 2 setup, right? And for that reason, we after we play the champion, right, we'll have 12 cards remaining, right? And we try to maximize the hand size to be at 10 basically. That's why. So we go monument on top, we end the turn, and now there is one tricky condition, right? What's gonna break the combo, and I will show situations how this breaks up later on, right? Is that when both monuments die at the same time. So you need to space out how they die, or you're gonna run into situations where the combo won't go off. So the easiest condition to do that is if you have like a reformer hand, don't play the second monument. Don't play the second monument yet, but play a reform spell first, right? So you can space their hit points. Ideally, another thing you can do, which is far easier, is to have one of the monuments have like an HP stone for plus 25, right? So be like 65, and that will be at 40. So you're guaranteed, that they're both gonna die on different intervals. Now you may ask me what's gonna happen if you draw the monuments on turn 1. Well, then I will show you what will happen in that case and how you have to play it out. But that was the easiest condition, right? So we do that. Then you play the other monument, right? You play your zero cost whatever you have, right? Now you ping here, for example. You play your other reforms, right? And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So since we nuked this guy, we're gonna keep shooting this guy instead, right? And you can play the other molded, and now we manage to have one molded left in hand, right? So it doesn't matter if you're gonna be playing the molded and have now in this situation, doesn't matter if when this dies, if you have like a molded left or a torch left. For example, if I play torch now, they're gonna draw me the molded, and there's gonna be a torch here. This doesn't matter whatsoever. But I will show you, by the way, why it doesn't matter. I will run both cases. So let's say I will leave. I will have like the molded in this case when one dies, right? So let's say I have one molded here. So I maxed my hand size, but I'm like in an ideal case scenario where I have like one molded plus one offering monument, and this is what you want to achieve, like having one molded here and one monument, and these two other cards at hand, or the monument in play and the one at hand, right? So if you play the molded, you bring the other one back, right? See, you have molded, monument, you play monument, molded, monument, molded, and so on, and you can keep buffing their attacks. You can finish them with Soul Guard. You can get infinite money if they have like some sort of extinguish trigger. You can do many things. You can do apply Frostbite if they have some infusion, whatever, you know, right? It doesn't matter, right? So let me show you now. I think I play the molded last, but let me have the torch instead. So again, let's play Tethys. Here we'll go for the turn 2 again. Okay, so we go, we'll play something like that, right? Just to decrease its HP so they don't die at the same time. Then we play this guy here. We go molded, here, molded. Again, we shoot the guy who has left so we know he's gonna die separately, right? And last time I had I think a molded here. Now this time I will set it up so there's a torch instead, right? So we're like this in this case, so I'll play the molded again. Right, now we'll set it up so there's a torch instead. Right, so I have the 2 moldeds in hand. Now there's a torch and a monument instead. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna play my molded, obviously, right? And now we're getting in the same situation like before, that I have like 1 molded and 1 monument, right? And we're set up, right? We can play monument, molded, monument, molded, and go off, right? Now I will show you another situation. What could I do if, let's say, I had like, I drew Tethys plus monument in the first draw. So let's say we had a case, you know, basically where we were like this, right? So that is a bit more tricky because you need some sort of pinger so you can space them out so they die in different intervals. Some sort of pinger, or as I said, this one should be like something like 65 HP and this be 40, right? It would be like the easiest case to do after some time. So I play reform. I'll ping this 3 times because I have to let them die separately, right? So we're gonna go in the same situation like before, right? We can play, for example, reform here. Okay, now because this died, I think, from torch damage and didn't apply the last -5, it has more HP than 5, right? So you play this guy here, right? And you mold it, it brings the other one back. But you don't play it with the same floor now, because if you do, they're gonna die at the same time. And I will show again what's the problem when they die at the same time and the next one, right? So instead, you want to cycle the last molded here. So you don't want to die and let them die at the same time. He dies, you cycle the last molded, and you're again in this ideal situation where molded plus monument are here, and you have the other 2, as I said, either in the hand or one in here and another one here. Okay, and you just go off. Boom, 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 and you go off. Alright, so now let's check the case. What happens when both are gonna die at the same time, right? I think it's easy to think of yourself, you know, what will happen, right? Obviously, I will be in a situation where I'll have like 2 totems, not totems, 2 monuments, yeah, totems basically, here, plus a reform and 1 reform at hand. So that will be an issue because I cannot just do the loop, right? So 1, 2, 3, shoot this guy down. 1, 2, 3. Alright, now you see the problem now. We have 2 monuments here and a reform here. When I do reform, I can bring only 1 monument and I don't have any other reform. And if I shoot this guy down, it won't matter, because my hand size is gonna be decreasing, and the combo is broken. Right, so that's how you tackle these cases, right? So the combo always works with 13 cards in total, including the champion, with 2 zero cost reforms and with 2 zero cost monuments. Ideally, the easiest way to just deal with this situation is have one of the monuments be on 65 HP and the other one be on 40. Anyway, they should have like a more than 5 HP difference in general. That's the general idea. You can even have like +5, +10 or something like that, you know, for example, that other stone you get. And some of the zero cost cards, if they have this HP difference, it doesn't matter if these cards are pingers or not, but they should be castable, zero cost cards, so you can just accumulate 10 cards in hand, right? So that's the general idea.